All right, good afternoon, everybody. Coming off of the game and diving into the tape, a lot of really good things on the tape. From a standpoint of how our defense played, I thought our offense moved the ball well for most of the night. Just critical turnovers and some things there that really kept us from capturing the momentum early on in that game, despite the pretty consistent execution, pretty much for the most part. But good to be 6-2 at this point in the season, 8 games in. I feel like we have a good identity of who our football team is, but at the same time, I do feel like we have a long runway to improve and continue to get better and better every week. That's been a goal of mine since we really reported to training camp, is just to be constantly chasing the progression throughout the season and having that be what our process is all about. I did want to update you guys. Christian Darrisaw will have surgery today. I will make sure we get a little bit later on today, all the details of that surgery. But happy with the fact that CD is going to get that thing fixed and start his road to getting back to being one of the best left tackles in football. So CD's been great. He's been heavily involved even in the short term here. In meetings around the guys, was around Cam last week as he first arrived, and was one of the major contributors along with the position coaches and the rest of the offensive line for Cam to be able to go out and play pretty darn well for us yesterday. Just a couple injury updates for you. Will Reichert, we're still in the process of evaluating that quad injury, and I'll keep you guys posted as we kind of solidify a timeline there on that, and if we're going to need to possibly bring in some kickers to potentially take a look at. And then Andrew DePaula had a hand injury that will require a procedure, and to allow that thing to heal up probably is looking like a short-term IR candidate, which will need to potentially have a long snapper in the building. So we'll keep you guys posted on all of those things. But with that, I'll turn it over to you.
Do you have any long snappers on your team right now that could fill that void? Does anybody practice that outside of?
We do have a couple guys, but I'm sure if we, asked for volunteers, we'd have a few hands go up in the room. But we'll probably look to solidify it with something a little bit more sustainable than that, for the short term here.
So you guys bringing in kickers and long snappers for tryouts here?
Yeah, still working through it, but it's looking that way. I don't want to get too far out in front of things before I kind of know exactly the route we're going to go, but definitely something that we're considering right now.
Kevin, just how tough to hear about that injury for Will, given the season that he started out with?
Yeah, it's something where you would love to, have him just continue on just the fabulous trajectory he's been on really since he arrived here. These things kind of come up, and we'll go through the process here, making sure we put together the best plan so we have him full and doing what he was doing all season long, up until really last night.
Kevin, is short-term IR something you'd be concerned about for Will at all?
It's something that it's all based upon the timeline. Once that's determined, I think we got to do what's best for the team, but not in a place right now to have any sort of clarity on that. At least right now, as the week progresses, maybe we'll get more clarity on that. I imagine we will, and we'll keep you guys posted.
Kevin, was it your understanding that that injury affected his kicks last night?
Yeah, I know it was an injury sustained last night. Don't know whether it was a swing on a kickoff or one of the kicks, but yeah, with how he's performed up until this point, I would imagine that was a contributing factor in him missing a couple kicks. But he did, he toughed it out and was able to still put the ball in the end zone on some kickoffs and make some extra points. So tough dude and loves being out there with his teammates. And as you guys know and can tell, his teammates absolutely love him. So like I said, we'll go through that process, and we'll need Will Reichert back as soon as we can possibly have him.
You were a 13-win team just a couple of years ago. Are there any commonalities or similar feelings to this team and that team?
That's a good question. I think For the most part, what I would say is each team is, every year it seems like you want to build not a new identity, but you want to allow a natural identity to take place with the guys you have, the type of players you have in all three phases, and then what's the emphasis? What am I trying to build with our coaching staff, with our players, building it together to make sure this year's version of our team can reach what our potential is going to be, all while overcoming some temporary short-term results, adversity, or the ebbs and flows of injuries throughout an NFL season. We want to be able to withstand both and continue to improve. I do like the makeup of our team this year. I think we've got guys that just go back to work, really buy into and live the one day at a time mentality, and just trying to have the best possible days of preparation, knowing that it's helped us get to a 6-2 point, all while knowing we can improve and keep getting better, keep coming together, gelling, in all three phases. And I still think, that performance in all three phases for 4 quarters is out there, like it is for many teams in the NFL. As you progress through the season, you're still just trying to put it together week in and week out with a lot of confidence for sure. But, we're going to keep pushing and keep straining every single day to try to get better. But as of right now, I think the thing I love the most about this team is just the makeup of our locker room. I think we're a talented team, and I think we're capable of accomplishing a lot, but all while knowing we've got to go to work every single day to make it happen, because that's what this league is all about.
Kevin, what did you think of Dallas Turner's production in the second half?
Yeah, I thought there were some real flashes in the pass rush and just the activity, solid in the run game. We wanted to make sure he was a little bit more involved in the game, and he showed up. And I thought it was a performance that I was not surprised by, and kind of had been telling you guys, as we move forward here and based upon game plans and things like that. But I thought it was a real great step in the right direction for Dallas, and one that I think he'll build on. It's still early on in his career, and he's learning and getting better every single day, but talented player, athletic. It shows up when you turn on the tape.
Kevin, the referee said last night that he did not see any forcible contact to Sam's head, and we've seen this a couple times now.
Yeah.
Or do you, on a week-to-week basis, are you confident that the NFL is protecting him and quarterbacks the way they should?
Yeah, it's part of my conversation, especially recently. In the 90-minute meetings leading into games, I'll continue to seek as much clarity so that I know how to coach our team and our players. I know what the rule is. I know what the language of the rule is, and my opinion of what took place last night on that play, or maybe a play previously 10 days before that, really does not matter. I'm learning that very quickly.
Kevin, Josh Oliver, did he benefit in the stranger with TJ being out? Because it looks like he's coming into his own.
Yeah, Josh had a career high in catches and made the huge play at the end. Had the first catch of the day to really move the chains on that first play of the day. But what Josh does that sometimes is not seen enough is his role in the run game and pass pro, the physicality he brings to our offense, and he's got the ability to impact the pass game. Big, moves well, great catch radius. And I think, it was great to have TJ back out there, but the best thing was having that collection of 3 guys with TJ, Josh, and Johnny, the versatility that they could bring, and then that feeling in the fourth quarter when we could, whether it was 21 personnel with Josh and CJ, Josh and Johnny out there, TJ and Josh, whatever it was, we got fresh bodies that can go really handle the edge and allow our run game, considering the type of combinations we were getting inside in the run game against 2 really, really good interior players. That was a real positive for our offense and for our team when we really wanted to eat some clock. And we've had drives like that this year where we've ate some clock and maybe ended in a field goal, but to stay aggressive there and put it in the end zone, I thought was a big deal.
On those run plays or game, how impactful was Cam Akers? What was it, 16 snaps? The 16 snaps he played?
Yeah, I think, we wanted to see, and I think we talked about it last week a little bit, just about Cam's role, and we definitely want to make sure we keep Aaron as our starting back, as healthy and as impactful as he's been, and to have a guy like Cam and Ty, for that matter, we're still going to see Ty Chandler in the mix as well. It was really just kind of a situation where Cam gets off to a hot start. We were able to kind of stack some runs on top of each other, made some really, really good cuts. He does know kind of the origin of a lot of the things at the base level of our offense from a standpoint of tracks and reads and where maybe some balls may hit versus some fronts or movement or things like that from his time previously with LA. That's what made him somebody that I've always wanted to pursue to get here, because I think he's a guy that can, watch the game and see how we're being defended, see how certain runs are kind of looking either on the tablet or in real time, and then he goes out there and he can adjust on the fly. Because with the run game, you guys know this, it's, I think we had 33 rush attempts last night. So much of that is capitalizing and just being efficient. Even if it's a 3-4 yard run against fronts like that, sometimes you have to have those kind of messy, dirty runs to then hit, the earned first down chunks or lean on them a little bit, or maybe take some of the sting of that rush out so you can try to get the ball downfield. Gus does a good job mixing in some edge pressures that you really it's hard to get a beat on when it's coming, and had a plan for it, and really, a couple times they were able to still get us with some of that, either, defeating blocks or whatever they did, and that's what a good front's going to do. But I thought Cam's impact was one that not only gave Aaron a breather so then he could be strong down the stretch, but was just impactful as just a guy stepping into the huddle.
Kevin, Sam brought up the idea last night that it was very clear to him that you guys were getting in and out of the huddle quickly, getting to the line quickly, and minimizing pre-snap stuff. Like, what do you sort of attribute that to last night?
I think it's a few things. I think our guys with a full week of practice coming off of our last game, we really wanted to emphasize it. We did some things adjusting practice just to make sure we were under a little bit more. If we normally break the huddle and set the play clock at 15 or 18, whatever it was, we were trying to shrink that number down a little bit just to put that added layer, all well, putting a little stress on Cam Robinson to, in his first couple practices to be working off of that same kind of setup. So I thought the guys handled it throughout the practice week. We did, some things specifically on some of the weightier downs where we maybe weren't as, exotic with our formations. We still had, as you guys saw, some good motion to kind of activate some leverages and try to get guys some free runs at the defense. So we're still going to do those things, but it's all about the urgency in and out of the huddle. I can get Sam the wristband number or the play call in as fast as possible, but we still need to, have the clarity of the play call, and then guys breaking the huddle, knowing exactly what to do, where to go. And I thought our guys were in total ownership of the plan, reflection of the coaches and the players, and it's something we've got to continue. And I think as we play more and more, Kevin, I think Sam's just kind of, I thought he did a great job in the last drive. I mean, we were kind of snapping those off right at about 1 on most of those plays. He was taking them down. It didn't feel at all stressful to him to manage a couple different sequences in that game, the 2-minute at the end of the half, to be able to double up with the potential field goal op and then score the touchdown to start the second half. So just really good from a standpoint. I thought he threw the ball great. I thought he commanded the offense at a really high level, and I thought the other 10 guys, no matter who was in there, responded to that. And it always starts with me. I got to, be really good about, moving on from a previous play. Sometimes I get carried away with either the officials or, trying to make sure, what happens on the previous play, we've got to move on. Sometimes it's, you're talking about maybe getting a measurement. Sometimes they adjust from the replay assist adjust. Could be second and inches, and you're thinking about a play, and then they tell you it's a 1st and 10, but that play clock's going to go to 25, and they're going to roll it. So there's sequences in the game a lot of times after some big yardage where we just got to go. We just got to go with pace and tempo, trust in what we're doing, and just it's all about the next play. And if we had great execution, wonderful. If we did not, we got to get back on track and we got to overcome it. And I thought there were some examples of that. And then there were some other times where a negative play, kind of stopped us from kind of continuing our momentum of great averages per play. We got the play count up, which I thought was big, in the low to mid 70s. That's a credit to our defense getting off the field. That's our guys sustaining, even though we were, had the red zone turnover or, had the really the 2 turnovers and then the fumble, 3 turnovers. All of those things kind of took place when we had at least possessed the football, gotten a couple first downs, and moved it. So that was real positive.
Last year.
Kevin, you mentioned last night your confidence in Sam.
Yeah.
Imagine it's been a progression kind of from when you first got here in March. You didn't work with them before. Could you sort of pinpoint when there's some of the little things that started to really kind of cement that for you?
Yeah, it's the time. I mean, Saturday mornings going through the call sheet after a week of preparation. It's watching him make some of the, every single game I can highlight a throw where, he's making throws now that are few and far between. There's a lot of really good quarterbacks in the NFL, a lot of unbelievable talent throwing the ball, and I think Sam has demonstrated the ability to make some really high-level throws, to show the ability to climb in the pocket, to use his legs, use his athleticism when we need it. And he continues to just, like I said, 6 incompletions last night. 2 of them, went to the other team. We got to make sure those things don't happen. But so many examples of explosive, so many examples of him taking completions. I thought we did a good job having some different ways of getting the ball out of his hands. They don't always work. It's not always, dynamic catch and run plays. But as I've told you guys before, I do believe every completion of any kind has a negative effect on the defense. It either allows you to use tempo, it allows you to then get to the line and put together a good run plan, a run pass can, whatever it is. We were kind of exhausting a lot of those things last night at different times and had success with it.
Kevin, in terms of Cam Robinson, I know you mentioned a couple of times, but when it comes to continuity and communication, what impresses you most that a guy can come in and kind of get on the same page that way? That sometimes you need a lot of reps to communicate that well.
Yeah, I think there's really 2 layers to it. Cam being the first, a veteran player with over 90 starts, he knows how to play the game. I thought for a guy that showed up and I use the play style term a lot. He probably only heard it about 100 times, which is a low number. Most of our players will tell you. But that showed up. I mean, his physicality in the run game, maybe the technique might not have been perfect, but his length and strength and able to, come off the rock when we needed him to, depending on if we were running to his side or he was on the back side of a run, that showed up to me. And then we went into, a lot of the plan was built, especially early on in the week, with a mindset of who knows who's going to be playing left tackle. So we tried to have a mindset of that. So he did get some help at different times throughout the night, but as the game kind of went on and the interior, became a little bit more of something that I was thinking about, we left him like a left tackle. We left him by himself a few times, and he answered the bell. I also want to highlight Blake and Garrett for their communication. I mean, I would love for you guys to hear some of that, but I would also not like for you guys to hear some of that. But it's pretty unique the way they're able to have that dialogue and make sure Cam was rock and roll and ready to go without having any of those pre-snaps. I think we had the one holding call, but that was our only penalty on offense. And then I think the other layer of that is I think Brian O'Neill's having one of his best seasons I know that I've been a part of with him, and he's been an established core player in this organization for a long time. But I cannot say enough about what he means to our offense and what he's been able to do this year at the right tackle spot, playing some of the best football of his career for sure.
Alec, last one.
Kevin, with the trade deadline, what kind of dialogue have you had with Kwesi?
Yeah, we're having constant dialogue right now just about, there's a lot of things being talked about around the league, a lot of, there's so many different this time of year. I mean, a result yesterday for one team might mean something completely different than a result for another team. And there's a lot of phone calls, a lot of dialogue this time of year. And I try to, just be, there. If he gets a call or he has an idea, whatever it is, we're in constant communication. But there's a lot of those things that never really materialize, and we're also very cognizant and aware of our team and what's been built here, and we have a lot of confidence in our team. But if there's an opportunity to improve our team, or there's an opportunity to improve our ability to build the team in the future, I think it's something we'll consider for sure. Thanks, guys.